a heart caught up in doubt and worries, I face my life every morning, wanting to shine, but somehow holding back joy and fear, sorrow within my heart. Still I know, even one as small as I can run into someday and find a shining, shimmering, brilliant light flowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads held high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. When I'm down and ready to surrender, when times are hard and it seems so dark, just knowing each day that I'm never on my own gives me strength and courage to try harder. Holding hands with my friends standing by my side, swinging arms together we will walk to the shining, shimmering, brilliant light glowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads held high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads held high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. With a heart caught up in doubt and worry, I face my life every morning, wanting to shine, but somehow holding back joy and fear, sorrow within my heart. Still I know, even one as small as I can run into someday and find a shining, shimmering, brilliant light flowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, so dark. Just knowing each day that I'm never on my own gives me strength and courage to try harder. Holding hands with my friends standing by my side, swinging arms together we will walk to the shining, shimmering, brilliant light glowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads held high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads held high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. With a heart caught up in doubt and worry, I face my life every morning, wanting to shine, but somehow holding back joy and fear, sorrow within my heart. Still I know, even one as small as I can run into someday and find a shining, shimmering, brilliant light glowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads held high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. When I'm down and ready to surrender, when times are hard and it seems so dark, just knowing each day that I'm never on my own gives me strength and courage to try harder. Holding hands with my friends standing by my side, swinging arms together we will walk to the shining, shimmering, brilliant light glowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads held high, for we are with a heart caught up in doubt and worry. I face my life every morning, wanting to shine, but somehow holding back joy and fear, sorrow within my heart. Still I know, even one as small as I can run into someday and find a shining, shimmering, brilliant light flowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads held high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. When I'm down and ready to surrender, when times are hard and it seems so dark, just knowing each day that I'm never on my own gives me strength and courage to try harder. Holding hands with my friends standing by my side, swinging arms together we will walk to the shining, shimmering, brilliant light glowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads held high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads held high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much. Hold on, I'm going to close the door. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us here at both the San Diego and Willie Rosales Church's monthly ceremony. Today is also an appreciation service for the 44th year since Reverend Yukawa began doing goyo here in San Diego. One of the things that I try to do every year for this particular service is try to learn something about the San Diego church something about what Yukawa Sensei did. And so I was really amazed because I read just a little bit parts, not the whole book, but little parts at a time. And so I was able to incorporate what I learned this time into the Norito for all of us. I do apologize for the tardiness that we started a little bit late. It's not much of it's not an excuse, but apparently there was an accident that took place here last night. I'm trying to fix things up and clean things up and get the service ready for today. So I do apologize for that. That we're just a tad bit late, but I hope you'll be understanding about that. So without any further ado, let's begin today's monthly ceremony and appreciation 44th year appreciation service for the Goyo that Reverend Norikazu, not just his Goyo, but also the continuous Goyo, the continuous light here in San Diego. 一度入れ 4 sincere claps. Prayer of Sincere Toritsugi, page 1 of the prayer book supplement. I am a Konkō Kyo believer. I believe in Ikiyami Konkō Daijin, Tenchi Kane No Kami. I've come today to practice my faith, appreciate and acknowledge the blessings, favors, and interventions of Tenchi Kane No Kami, honor the ancestors, and learn more about the faith of Konkō Daijin. As I learn more about the heart of Tenchi Kane No Kami, I nurture the faith of my spiritual family. Thus, I boldly confess that my mind is alert, my heart is receptive, and I will never be the same as long as I practice the faith and receive Toritsugi. Kami Konkō Daijin sama, Tenchi Kane No Kami sama, thank you. 一度入れ 4 sincere claps. Chido haire 4 sincere claps. Please open the prayer book supplement to page 2 for the Amatsu Norito. If you're watching online and this is your first time and you only speak English, the Romaji version of this is in the English section, not the Japanese section, so look down for the English section of the, not the YouTube, but in the service order. If you're clicking on the service order, go down to the next page and all the English and Romanized prayers are there. 高間の反乱にかむずまります。かむろぎかむろみのみこともちてすめみおやかむいざなぎのみことつくしのひゅうがんの立ちばなのおどんのあわぎはらにみそぎあらいたまうときにあれませるあらいどんのおかみ たちもろもろの我がごと罪汚れを払いたまい清めたまえと申すことのよしおは松神国津神八百万の神たちともにアメンの口コマの耳振り立てて聞こ示せとかしこみも申す。With each wave, may each and every one of your diseases and discomforts, pain and suffering, and all impurities and negativities be dispelled to the great and vast universe. Allow each and every one of us to be in the purest state of mind, as we are favored, blessed, and protected by the great love, virtue, and energy of Tenchi Kane No Kami. Okay, please bow your heads in prayer. 慎みてひがみ金光大臣の御前に間を割く。今より今日発信と本校教三礼語協会天地金の神月例祭並びに布教44年御礼記念祭執り行わんとす。教祖金光大臣様、歴代金光様、現教主金光様をはじめ、金光教大阪教会、一広教会、玉水親教会、サンディエゴ教会、ホノルル教会、ヒューラーズ教会、ベノ教会、ワヒヤワ教会、各教会、初代教会長、歴代教会長、現教会長の御徳をすがり申し、今日のみ祭り使え祭らんとす。これあげ行わん礼儀記憶5日に、 拝み祭る信奉者もろもろ、この者も身を正し、心新たにいただかしめたまえと、関取り付き恋ネギ立て祭りて、かしこみもまおす。Kigami Konkō Daijin, I seek your toritsugi for today's service. Today we conduct the March Tenchi Kane No Kami monthly ceremony, the 44th appreciation ceremony since the start of salvation work here in San Diego, begun by the late Reverend Norikazu Yukawa. As someone without virtue, I seek to receive and cling to the virtue of Konkō Daijin, the successive Konkō-samas, the present Konkō-sama, as well as the founding, past, and present head ministers of the Konkō churches of Osaka, Michihiro, Tamamizu, San Diego, Honolulu, Razu, Abeno, and Wahiawa for today's service. Today, the believers and I come together with our hearts, bodies, and minds, refreshed, purified, and ready for today's service. Thank you. Please open your prayer books to page 3 for the Kami prayer. Reverently we pray. The brilliance of heaven, the richness of earth. Time flows without cease. Years pass without end. In heaven and earth is a life that nurtures all. In heaven and earth is a truth that orders all. For this wondrous form, for these wondrous works, let us praise Tenchi Kane No Kami. Let us praise the divine parent of the universe. Kami loves and cares for all humanity, all those who live between heaven and earth. To revere Kami as divine parent, to live in Kami's infinite blessings, this is the way. Yet many, not knowing the way, are lost in greed and selfishness. They suffer the cycle of misfortunes. Great is Kami's sorrow. Our founding father, Konkō Daijin, suffered many trials in this world, but held fast to faith and sincerity. He received Kami's great blessing, began the life of mutual fulfillment of Kami and humanity. Humbly we pray. Divine Parent's great wish was thus fulfilled. Konkō Daijin accepted the call to mediation that leads to the mutual benefit of Kami and humanity. By day, he taught the way of faith to all who sought him, expounding the blessings of heaven and earth. And he knew not the coming of night. By night, he prayed for those who grieved, seeking salvation for all who suffered. And he knew not the dawning of day. Though years passed and the world changed, he did not waver from his task, divine task of mediation. Thus was given the sacred Tenchi Kakitsuke, the guiding principle for our daily life. Divine favor was thus renewed, and blessings flowed universally, establishing the way of eternal prosperity, the way of mediation of Ikigami Konkō Daijin. By this wondrous revelation, we are given knowledge of the way, through all the hardships of this world, through pain of body and soul. The way of mediation teaches us to turn our hearts to Kami. Without regard for day or night, whether we are near or far, the way of mediation teaches us to pray with total trust. For living unaware of divine favor, we offer our sincere apologies and pledge to mend our ways. Let us live our faith every day, seeking and rejoicing in your divine favor. Let us care for those in pain and invite them to the way. Let us guide those who are lost and awaken them to a life of purpose. Kami is fulfilled in us. We are fulfilled in Kami. May this way of mutual fulfillment be manifested in this world. May Kami's wish for true peace and the well-being of all people be fulfilled. So we humbly pray. So we earnestly pray. Please bow your heads in prayer. Kakemaku mo hayan ni kushi koren no shie no niwa o imahari yomahari tsuki matsurimasu tate matsurimasu Tenchi Kane no Oyagami Kyoso Konkō Daijin no Mimae ni Mata Naniwa e no sato ni Oshie no waza hajimete tsutae tamaeru Shirakami ya hiroma michiwake no mikoto ni 교하신 또 공고교 산디에고 교会 慎みやまいかしこみもまおさく On this gentle spring morning, within the sacred embrace of the Kyoha Shinto Konkō Church of San Diego, we, your beloved children, have gathered within one heart. With sincerity and deep gratitude, we offer our love and appreciation for the boundless blessings, favors, steadfast protection, and merciful interventions you bestow upon us each and every day. The rain that refills our reservoirs and aquifers, the air we are allowed to inhale that allows us to live, ohana and friends who enrich our lives. We continue our practice of faith. We are awakened to the blessings or megumi that you showered upon us daily, and we thank you for them, even those that we have yet to know. Today, we also lift our hearts in a warm mahalo. Thank you for the guiding Reverend Norikazu Yukawa to establish this church, a place of faith, connection, and your divine presence. Kami-sama, one of the pillars of the San Diego Church is to honor, remember, and appreciate our foundations. Thus, we offer our hearts of appreciation for the daily goyo of our spiritual patriarch, Kyoshu Konkō-sama, the Reverend Hiromichi Konkō. We ask that you please keep him and his wife, the Reverend Nobuko Konkō, healthy in order for the both of them to continue with their goyo. We thank you for our parent church and head minister, Konkō Church of Tamamizu, the Reverend Masao Yukawa and his wife, the Reverend Nobue Yukawa. Please keep them, as well as associate ministers and trainees, healthy and strong in order for all of them to continue their goyo and help the Ujiko of Osaka and the world. Thank you very much for the blessings, favors, grace, interventions, and protections you have showered upon each of the Ujiko of the San Diego Church, North San Diego County Gathering, the Chula Vista Kosha, the Whittier Rose Hills Church, the New York, New Jersey Gathering, as well as those living throughout San Diego County, Riverside County, San Bernardino County, Los Angeles County, Estados Unidos Mexicanos, Japan, as well as the states of Arizona, Colorado, Hawaii, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, Oklahoma, and Texas. We continue to receive okage regarding our jobs, health, and the greatest okage of all, life. We acknowledge and appreciate that without you, we would not be here today. At this sacred moment, we humbly offer our hearts in apology. There are times when our faith wavers, when we fall short in our devotion to you. We take for granted the countless blessings and divine favors showered upon us, and at times we forget you. We forget the okage we received when the Spies Ohana welcomed the church and its congregation into its care. We forgot that this very place, where the living and the departed are granted the grace to gather in worship, remains the Konkō Church of San Diego. Wabi mo shiagemasu. Kami-sama, you taught us, ten to chi no aida ni sumu ningen wa minna kami no jiko. Humans living between heaven and earth are all the beloved children of Kami. We know that this teaching is of love, and love is what the Reverend Norikazu Yukawa and his dear wife Sheila poured into the souls of those seeking salvation. The mission became a place that embraced all people as brothers and sisters, regardless of race, sexual orientation, size, color of one's skin, gender identity, age, occupation, social status, etc. As a result, those who entered the halls of the mission followed in Yukawa Sensei's and Sheila's footsteps and were embracing and loving, kind and generous, while always keeping you at the forefront of their lives. However, the birth of the San Diego Church did not come so easily. As you're well aware, Reverend Yukawa's desire to share Konkō Daijin's faith in the United States did not go over well with his father, the late Reverend Shigeru Yukawa, the second head minister of our parent church. Shigeru Sensei severed his ties with his son, as Norikazu Sensei left the safety and security of his home church of Tamamizu for the United States. On February 10, 1976, Norikazu Sensei was transferred to the Konkō Church of San Francisco, where he would be welcomed and loved by his second set of parents, the late Reverends Fumio and Fumiko Matsui. Enveloped in their patience, love, and prayers, Yukawa Sensei began to understand and continue to learn about American society. Kami-sama, a Japanese father often conceals their deepest emotions, holding them within. We understand that Reverend Shigeru Yukawa's initial objection was, in truth, a test. One meant to challenge and refine the resolve of his spirited son, Norikazu Sensei. As a young man, Norikazu Sensei was full of energy, and his father needed to see just how deeply committed he was to sharing Konkō Daijin's teachings in America. In 1981, Norikazu Sensei embarked on his journey, beginning a fellowship in San Diego while working for a company in Fallbrook. Seeing the sincerity of his son's heart, Reverend Shigeru Yukawa recognized that the time had come. On April 12, 1982, Norikazu Sensei was called back to the Konkō Church of Tamamizu to prepare for the establishment of a fukyōsho, or a new mission, in San Diego. On May 1st, 1984, paperwork was drawn up and sent to the fourth Konkō-sama, the late Reverend Kagamitaro Konkō, for the start of Reverend Norikazu Yukawa's official missionary work in San Diego. Albeit Yukawa Sensei had started his missionary work earlier, the Konkō Mission of San Diego, or Konkō-kyo San Diego Fukyōsho, was born in 1984. Through many ups and downs, Reverend Yukawa and his then wife, Sheila, tended to the spiritual needs of those seeking help. On January 1st, 1987, official paperwork was submitted to the fourth Konkō-sama, seeking permission to elevate the mission to church status. On March 31st, 1987, the late Reverend Kagami Taro Konkō graced us with his permission. However, the story of this church would continue like a telenovela. With the passing of Reverend Norikazu Yukawa, the church found itself without its devoted and charismatic leader. What followed was a time of great hardship and tested the faith and strength of this congregation. An associate minister of the church betrayed the trust placed in her, illegally embezzling church funds, locking the doors of the Grayling Street Hiromai, and secretly selling the Soluna Beach property, the very land that had been intended for the future home of Konkō San Diego Kyokai. As if this were not enough, she later sold the Grayling Street property, abandoning those who had once looked up to her, and fled to a southern state, taking with her the proceeds of the Soluna Beach sale. This dark chapter in the church's history left deep scars, not only upon the San Diego church itself, but also in the hearts of its devoted members. Yet, even in this time of hardships, the unwavering faith, kindness, and generosity of Mr. and Mrs. Spies became a guiding light. Seeing the church in need, Mrs. Kimio Spies made a profound and selfless offering, dedicating the very room where she practiced Nihon Buyo to Kami-sama. With a heart full of faith, she relinquished her sacred space so that the church might endure, that its members might have a home for worship, and that the divine presence of Kami could continue to dwell in San Diego. This was not merely the offering of a room. It was the offering of devotion, of sacrifice, of a spiritual sanctuary. It was an act of love, not only for the believers at the time, but for future generations, ensuring that all who sought solace in faith would always have a place to turn to. Yet, how easily we forget the hands that built the foundation beneath our feet. How often do we take for granted the blessings and favors we enjoy today, failing to recognize the unseen sacrifices that made them possible? The Hiromai, the very heart of this church, stands as a testament of faith to Mr. and Mrs. Spies, a sacred space consecrated by their love, their devotion, and their belief in Tenchi Kane No Kami. To neglect this space, to allow it to fall into disorder, is to turn one's back on the very blessings that sustain us. It is to forget the hands that built, the prayers that were spoken, the faith that transformed an ordinary room into a sanctuary. Let us remember, this space was not given lightly. It was offered in faith. It must be honored in faith. From 2002 to 2009, for 7 long years, the church remained without a minister. Yet, through the steadfast devotion of its believers, the flame of faith never wavered, and the doors of the church remained open for an additional 23 years. On October 19th, 2009, Reverend Roderick Hashimoto was appointed as the second head minister of the San Diego Church. Prior to his appointment, Reverend Alfred Yoshisatsuki had provided spiritual guidance, offering toritsugi and conducting services to sustain the congregation's faith. After Reverend Hashimoto's appointment, when he was unable to be in San Diego, Reverends Joanne Tolosa and Masato Kawahatsu also offered their support, traveling south to assist whenever they could. Tragically, on March 28, 2019, due to negligence, the Konkō Church of San Diego lost its corporate and nonprofit status with the state of California. However, on March 9, 2020, the fifth spiritual patriarch, the late Reverend Heiki Konkō, appointed Reverend Todd Takahashi as the third head minister of the San Diego Church, ushering in a new chapter in the church's enduring journey of faith. Through Reverend Takahashi's tireless efforts and after seeking the guidance of the late Mrs. Joanne Isako Sonoda, the church was able to restore its corporate status under a new name, Kyoha Shinto Konkō Church of San Diego. On January 1st, 2022, another milestone was reached with the establishment of the Chula Vista Kosha, an extension of the San Diego Church within Reverend Takahashi's own apartment. It was a fulfillment of a long-held prayer and promise that should he ever have a place of his own, he would dedicate it to sharing the teachings of Konkō Daijin. Now, as we step into 2025, the San Diego Church looks forward to yet another expansion, this time beyond borders. Conversations have begun with believers in Tijuana and Ciudad Mexico, laying the foundation to share Konkō Daijin's teachings with our Ujiko, our Ohana, in Mexico this year. This endeavor will bring to life the long-cherished prayers of the Reverends Michinori and Ikueyagi of the Yagi Church in Kyoto, extending the light of faith to new lands and hearts. We offer our hearts of appreciation to all those who gave of themselves to you, to those who continue the flame of faith so that others could receive that light themselves. We are grateful to the Kyoko Rosha for their goyo and sacrifice. Dr. Katsumi Miyai, Madam Mitsuhiro Bando, Reverend Norikazu Yukawa, Mrs. Shayla Mary Chapman, and Mr. and Mrs. Dick Spies. Most importantly, we give thanks to you, Tenchi Kane No Kami. Your direction and guidance has kept this flame alive in San Diego County. These are your blessings and favors, guidance in hand that has made each year possible. This Hiromai is sacred. It is a sanctuary where all of your children, regardless of race, gender, identity, or circumstance, are embraced with love and dignity. In a world where injustice and division seek to strip away the humanity of the vulnerable, this space stands in a testament to compassion, unity, and unwavering faith. Discrimination and hate have no home here. This worship hall will always be a safe space. Here, no one is turned away. No one is made to feel lesser, and no one is forgotten. We are a community of believers who open our hearts and our arms to all who seek solace, healing, and acceptance. But a sanctuary does not remain sacred on its own. It must be honored, protected, and nurtured. It is our prayer that those who enter this Hiromai will cherish it, that they will recognize its divine significance, and that they will express their gratitude not only in words, but in action, through goyo, the sacred service of devotion. May this Hiromai remain forever a beacon of light in a world that so desperately needs it. Kami-sama, allow your glory to shine high, bright, and wide, and let your virtue gush forth like a spring, giving life, hope, and favor to those who come to drink of its waters. We pray that our Ohana in Mexico and other states can drink of these waters as well. And may those of the past and their descendants come home to your home of love, warmth, and embrace. Kami-sama, we humbly ask that you take charge and guide us towards a new home as we continue the sacred work of rebuilding the San Diego Church. Our reality is pressing. We urgently need a space that will serve as your new home, a sanctuary where believers may gather, where Toritsugi may continue, and where your divine presence may truly dwell. We seek the means, through your boundless grace, mercy, and favor, to acquire or rent a space that will allow us to share your teachings and uplift those in need. For the past 6 years, we have become guests in the home of the Spies Ohana. Though we remain eternally grateful for their generosity, we recognize the importance of establishing a permanent home where our faith may continue to grow. Furthermore, as of July 2024, you have entrusted us with an even greater responsibility as the spiritual care of the Whittier Rose Hills Church. Though its physical doors have closed, its legacy of faith remains alive. By the request of Reverend Kyoshe Wakiko Igawa, we now honor the spirits once enshrined the Whittier Rose Hills Church, Hiromae, carrying forth their memory in prayer and devotion within the San Diego Church, sending believers messages of faith and offering them prayers on their behalf, ensuring that their connection to you remains unbroken. We will not turn to others, not to Konkō headquarters, not to the North American Diocese, not to Tamamizu Parent Church, not to illicit funds or bank loans. Instead, we as an Ohana will cling to you. We will trust your divine guidance to rebuild our church, restore our faith, and lead us into the future. With your blessings, our mission will not only be fulfilled within San Diego, but will reach Tijuana, Ciudad Mexico, and beyond, as we continue to spread the light of Konkō Daijin's teachings to all who seek your presence. It is our prayer that you allow the San Diego Church, as well as the Chula Vista Kosha, and soon to be Tijuana and Mexico City fellowships, to continue to be an upstanding and outstanding light in San Diego County, the country of Mexico, and the state of California. Allow us to continue to be wonderful representatives of Kami-sama, Konkō-sama, Konkō-kyo, and the North American Diocese. Please allow the San Diego Church to continue to give birth to true believers who continuously acknowledges and appreciates your blessings and favors, and receives okage, toku, shintoku, and nintoku, as well as abundance and your interventions. Please continue to support us to be a church that will spread the word, heal the wounded, pray for communities, and create bridges to the communities we serve. Fill this church, its ministers and members, with laughter and harmony to help increase the joy in the lives and souls of those who come into contact with the San Diego Church, as well as its extensions, ministers, and members. We pray that the neighborhood, cities, and countries we are all located in to prosper, flourish, and thrive. The people in Mitama to be saved, the Ujiko to live healthy, prosperous, and live in abundance. Keep them safe and at peace. Allow your Gohide to shine brightly, and people to encounter not just the church, but also the teachings of Konkō Daijin and Toritsugi. Yukawa Masao ya sensei no won Toritsugi no mikokoro wo, warera shinpo shai tomo ni kokoro arata ni motome yuki, makoto no kage o yon ni arawasan negai motte, tamamizu ya kyokai fukyo 120年の御祭りを使え、心結び、麗しく力を叶えて、火炎と今月今日、乗り祭る。As this prayer comes to a close, we pray that the blessings and favor of today's service is granted, received by all here today, those who could not be with us. Me ke aloha pumehana. Mahalo anui e. Our beloved Ikigami Konkō Daijin, Tenchi Kane No Kami. Now, please raise your heads. Sido tomoni haire, 4 sincere claps along with the head officiant. Please open the prayer book supplement to page 3 for prayer for grace. Kami-sama, give me grace for this day, not for a lifetime, nor next year, next month, next week, or tomorrow. Yes, give me grace just for this day. Direct my work and bless it. Advise me in the things I say and give them blessings too. Direct and bless everything that I think, do, and speak. So for this one day, I have the gift of grace that comes from your presence. Kami-sama, just this one day, let me live generously and kindly in a state of grace and goodness that makes me a little bit like you. Please open your prayer books to page 29 for Shintoku Sanji. Haogi matsureba ten takaku. Haogi matsureba ten takaku. Orogami matsureba chi wa atsushi. Kami no megumi ni ikasaruru. Mi no saiwai zo arigataki. Waga ikigami no 取り次ぎ人品も隠る時のなく天地の神の御守りと吉かきの隔てなし感につく真にはよろずようにあまねく満ちて果てしなく感計らいはくすしくて人の思いぞを呼ばざる我ら今月今日やび祭りてひたすらに神の御影をたたえ祭らん神の比例を仰ぎ祭らんChido Haire, 4 sincere claps. Shido Haire, 4 sincere claps. Please open your prayer books to page 11 for prayer to the departed souls. Spirits of those who have gone before us, you were given the gift of life in this vast and endless universe. You discharge your duties faithfully, each according to your span of years. You will be remembered eternally, your lives retold from generation to generation, honored as the foundation of our society and the roots of our families. We revere you as the ancestral spirits of our homes, our own divine spirits. We beseech you, stand by us each and every one. Receive the favor of Kami. Help us to fulfill our tasks as people without failing. Protect us, guide us, enrich us, that we may never lose the way of faith, that we hand it down to old generations, that we may live in peace and prosperity within our homes. Protect us, guide us, enrich us. Yukawa umashi ni chiteru mi hashira ushi haishi. For those of you joining us for the first time, this is the appreciation prayer to the founding minister of the Konkō Church of Tamamizu. So if you click on the link, it'll take you directly to the Romanized version of the prayer. Haware hao gumo shita washiki yukawa no ushi haya. Haware hao gumo shita washiki yukawa no ushi haya. Haware shinobu mo natsukashiki umashi michiteru mi hashira ushi haya. Waka no urawa no kiyoki fukaki mi kokoro mochite Kami o yamai michi o totobi Nani wa ien no hiroki toki mi omoi mochite Yo wa ware mi hito o sukuite Michi no mi hikari o wamma kagashi oshien no megumi o kun ni kagashi Hito no yon no mototsu michi o kiwame tsukushi Kami to hito to hitotsu naru kotowari o Masayaka ni oshie matsubusa ni shimeshi tamaishi Oki takaki mi sao to mi matsuri iabi matsuraku o Megushi to kikoshi hashi to miso nawashite Michi no yuku te o wanmatsu hin no iato ni mamori Oshien no kora ga yuku sue o Herutsuki no iyahiro ni megumi tamae to kashikomi momosu. Please open your prayer books to page 36 for Sosen Sanji. Yoyon no oya wa waga ien no kami waga kami to kokoro tsukushite itsuki matsuranna kokoro tsukushite itsuki matsuranna to kimi yo yan no kami tachi yo umi no kon no tamen ni ien no hashira wo shizume tate tam い。初婚のために世のなりわいを守り助けたまい。隔離世の見えぬ境に増しませども右尽くしみのみ心は写しよに変わらせたまわず先見たまのまさきく先は言えたまいくしみたまのくしびに恵みたまいて志は薪の柱の動きなくなりわいは結ぶつなめのゆるびなく真心清らに励みつとめしめたまいうからやからやわらぎやいてひにけにうらやすく楽しましめたまいついに移しよのことを得て神の御門に参らん時には必ずしも迎え取りたまい右尽くしみをこむらしめたまわんものと神の実りの絶えなるをかしこみかたじけなみみ親の恵みのおぼろげならぬを嬉しみ喜び申すことを見心も涼やかにきこしめしたまえと申す。花くしびのみ親の御霊。花くしびのみ親の御霊。花ととのみ親の神。花ととのみ親の神。Chido Haide, 4 sincere claps. Chido Haide, 4 sincere claps. So Sen Chobo Haishi, page 5 of the prayer book supplement. まだ好きかけて祈らないよ世の親。親の身親の神の支配よ。まだ好きかけて祈らないよ世の親。親の身親の神の支配よ。Chido Haide, 4 sincere claps. 一度入れ 4 sincere claps. Please open your prayer books to page 6 for recitation of the Tenchi Kakitsuke. Kigami Konkō Daijin Tenchi Kane No Kami Isshin ni negae. Kigami Konkō Daijin Tenchi Kane No Kami Isshin ni negae. 影は我が心にあり。影は我が心にあり。今月今日で頼め。今月今日で頼め。Pray sincerely with all your heart. Be one with Kami. Kami's blessings begin within. Hearts grateful and caring. Harmony and joy. Look to Kami always, now and forever. On this very day, pray. Oración de Tenchi Kakitsuke, page 6 of the prayer book supplement. A través de mi Konkō Daijin, Oria Tenchi Kane no Kami, con todo el corazón. A través de mi Konkō Daijin, Oria Tenchi Kane no Kami, con todo el corazón. La gracia divina depende del corazón de cada uno. La gracia divina depende del corazón de cada uno. Ore ahora en este momento. Ore ahora en este momento. Chido haire 4 sincere claps. Good morning, everybody. Mahalo nui again for joining us today for not just our monthly service for Tenchi Kane no Kami, but also to remember and to learn and to about the 44 years that, since Yukawa Sensei started coming here in 1981. Just for not, he didn't officially open. He just had like a family gathering, a family what they call kate shukai, or like a family like gathering where people would come to learn and pray. I have no idea what those were like, but I'm sure if there are people out there, I look forward to hearing about what he might have done during those times. But I'm it's such an amazing thing, and it's interesting. Last week, for those of you who joined us for the regional seminar, that was just an amazing time. Um, I I thought it was so interesting because I was talking with someone and he said, Sensei, I don't know where you get the energy from. You have so much energy to do this. I said, oh, I get it from all of you. You guys are giving it to me. And literally, I go back to the hotel, then I zonked out for 3 hours. Like, I was so exhausted. But it was such a wonderful time. It was such a wonderful journey for us. And when I think about what we covered, what we talked about, I talked about cursing. Now, I've done this sermon before many years ago. I talked about cursing, that we have the ability to curse others in both a positive and negative light. And this Hiromai, when I hear stories about Yukawa Sensei, especially about his first wife, Sheila, just how beautiful a human being she was. The kind of energy and passion and love and concern she showered upon believers. It made sense that many people would say, oh, she may not have spoken Japanese, but she was more Japanese than the Japanese themselves. She just exuded this spirit, this light. When I read the story, as I'm going through again, I'm learning so much about this church that I've only been a minister here for about, this would be my officially would be, I guess, 6 or 5, I don't know. But I've been doing Goyo here since, much like Yukawa Sensei, since 2019. For 6 years. I keep learning so much about it, and I find that it's really the heart and the sincerity of its members, as well as the ministers. They feed symbiotically off of each other. If you've ever read the Celestine Prophecy has an insight that says when I am thinking about you, when I am thinking about you, when I'm praying for you, when I'm giving you energy, and for those of you who attended the workshop last week, you know that we were able to transmit energy. We were able to give a part of ourselves to other people. And that gets replaced. That energy gets replaced by Tenchi Kane No Kami. Can you imagine what happens then when someone prays for us with that same kind of aloha? The Celestine prophecy says, and I used a vase to show that when I'm praying for you and you're praying for me, look at the pool of energy that grows. It doubles for both of us. Why? Because my energy being given to you is being filled up by Kami-sama. You are praying for me, so you're adding to that. In the same way, you who are praying for me, you are being replenished by Kami-sama, and I am praying for you. Our energies, our manna, our virtue continues to grow. I really feel like this church was just that way. Yes, we did have a very rough past with an associate minister who did a number of illegal things. That's a fact. Why? I'm not going to hide it. Someone once told me, why do you have to keep bringing that up? Because so that it will not happen again. Also, we need to always remember where we came from. We need to remember that so that we can continue to be better people and grow from that. Most people may not understand that, but that's fine. But it's still an important part of this church. In fact, it's on the website. I talk about it on the website. You know, when Mr. and Mrs. Spees opened this church to us, this space to us, it was so amazing. I remember I would come here, and Mrs. Spees would always sit at this couch over here, and she would always sit there. Or at her massage chair. I don't know if she ever used her massage chair, but apparently Max Segawa used it. He says it's great. I used it once. I was, oh my God, I could fall asleep in this sucker. But she would watch her Nihonbuyo, her Japanese dance videos, and or like her samurai videos. I always wanted to take them home because my dad, that's the kind of videos my dad likes, those samurai videos. But one thing that was a constant, she was either there or sitting in front of these altars. And I wouldn't doubt she kept praying. You know, she loved that couch that she always sat on. She always sat there. And I knew she was praying for us. That's why these altars, this altar had so much power and energy. I mean, she was there all the time, constantly, every day. I wasn't, because I have to live elsewhere. You know, at that time I lived in Spring Valley. And it's no wonder when I prayed here, you know, for people like Richard or for people, other people who asked me for prayers. No, it's no wonder this was a strong power spot. It was a power spot because of her prayers. And I wouldn't doubt that when Mrs. Davis came to visit, she prayed as well. They talked together. The combined energy coming in here created a power spot. And it saddens me that, you know, we don't have Mrs. Spees or Mrs. Davis anymore. The place where I think Mrs. Spees felt the most comfortable in praying no longer exists anymore. And so, you know, I apologize to all of you for being such a horrible minister, not being able to come here every day, not being able to give enough energy to replenish this hiromae. And that's completely my fault. I have to take full responsibility over it. Reverend Wakiko Igawa, when I was living there, when I was training there, when I was going to Long Beach State, the best university ever, UCLA has nothing over. Oh no, don't mess with Cal State Long Beach. One of the things that she would always say to me is I always, and it was really irritating. I always had to clean the altars every single day. Miss Miko Sanchez, Wakiko Sensei's daughter, told me when I first arrived in LA during that time period. She said, if you listen, we called her mommy back then, not Wakiko says, but we all called her mommy. If you listen to mommy and you do everything she says, I guarantee you, Todd, I can guarantee you, you will receive okage. What form it's going to come in, I don't know, but you watch. Kaz, her younger daughter, oh my gosh. The two between Miko and Kaz, there is huge support. They also, oh my God, between those two, they would light a fire under my oshiri. Oh my gosh, things would sometimes get so heated. It was hotter than a gay pride parade. Let me tell you, that's how hot sometimes things would get. But I knew that they did those things out of love. And I always wanted, Wakiko said, the Hiromai is so important because this is a place of energy. And it made sense. It took me a long time to realize, why did I have to clean the Hiromai every single day? Why did the altars the altars got cleaned every single day, nook to nook, cranny to cranny. And it made sense. I was allowed to become closer with Kami-sama at the Hiromai. I would pray for people at while cleaning. I would sing. My energy would be a part of that. And I was a part of that energy. I helped to build on top of Wakiko Sensei, on top of Kyoshi Sensei, on top of Katsuko Omura, on top of people like Miko and Kaz who are always home, on top of Lana. Our prayers made that Hiromai so powerful. And when I think about what Mrs. Spies has done, what Mrs. Spies did for us, how she always sat here and prayed, making sure that the energy level, making sure that this Hiromai remains sacred, special, making sure that faith was always about faith. I have to tell you, I really miss her. She was such a, can't believe it'll be 4 years pretty soon. But this church has seen so much, and really, hopefully last week's workshop helped you to realize just how much it takes to continue the flame of faith, the flame that was passed on from Reverend Yukawa to all of us. The flame that was given to him by his father. The flame that was given to him by his grandfather. The flame that was given to his grandfather by Shirakami Sensei. The flame that was given to Shirakami Sensei by Konkō Daijin. Now, I know some of you who are watching, you may not be a part of our church here in San Diego, but I ask you, maybe you're from Fresno or San Francisco or Seattle. I ask you to think about how you have contributed to your church and how much more can you give. I have a dear friend who lives at a church. And this dear friend only spends a few minutes a day at the Hiromai. Doesn't do so much at the church. I've known people who stayed at church, but they have to be told what to do. There's no sense of jitsui teine or sense of what can I do to better myself, to increase myself, to continue to give honor and glory to Kami-sama, to continue this connection. I've known people who to stay at church who just like, oh, whatever. Ignores the Hiromai. Wakiko Sensei told me that when you finally have your own Hiromai, regardless if it's in the classroom, your own bedroom, or your own place, you must always take care of it. You must always honor it and cherish it. And these people who live in a church, they don't even ask Sensei, oh, what can I do? Is there any kind of goyo that I can do? It's almost as if they take advantage of Sensei's prayers and virtue without saying thank you. without doing any kind of goyo. And it saddens me. But at the same time, I'm so grateful for Wakiko sensei, Kyoshi sensei, Nico, and Kaz, who taught me much better. Who taught me much better. You know, I know I always speak about Richard Huelchel. He's someone who I never knew I needed as much as he needed me. To learn that he had his own little altar in his place. And he only had a room. And I don't think, I've never been in his place. I can only imagine how big his room is. It couldn't have been very big. But to have a tiny little altar with a picture of his mother and Francis and one for Kami-sama. I remember him asking me, "Oh, sensei, I don't read Japanese. I can't read the book and everything. Is it okay that if I chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo to my mom and to Kami-sama?" I said, "Why not? Are you doing it flippantly? Are you doing it sincerely?" He goes, "No, it's the only one I know of. And it's easy to say. Is that okay?" I said, "As long as you say it sincerely, you mean it. When you turn to your mom and you Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, you turn to your mom and you say it out of love. You turn to Francis, you say it out of love. You say it to Richard, he's named after his father, your father, and you say that to him in love. That's not going to kill anybody. You're just offering your heart. You're showing your love and dedication daily to your parents and to Kami-sama. Richard went from being such a jerk when I first met him in 2019 to a person struggling to become a better him. And he is a part of this church. He is a part of our church's history. And I talk about him because I never want any of you to forget him. And I want you to learn from him because I continue to learn from him. And that's the legacy, the most beautiful thing about our church, that we're constantly growing and we're constantly learning and we're constantly cursing people, cursing them to be better, cursing them to have abundance, cursing them to have wonderful vacations, cursing them to have a good job. We're cursing them not negatively, but in such a positive way that they can live in abundance in the virtue and bosom of Kami-sama's love. So thank you everyone today for joining me here at the San Diego Church's Hiromai, the Verley Court Hiromai, this beautiful space that was donated as a gift out of faith to the San Diego Church. And I apologize to all of you, as I've not done enough to keep this place clean, to keep this place, the sanctuary, pure. I've not done enough. I really haven't. And so I ask all of you at this time for your forgiveness as I continue in my journey of faith, as I continue to do my best to be the best minister I can. I know I cannot ever be like Yukawa sensei. I could never be like Sheila. I could never be like Tsuki sensei or Hashimoto sensei. But I'm trying. I truly am. So with that, I'd like to end my sermon here. As all of you know, next week will be our spring grand memorial ceremony, or Reiko Taisai. For those of you who are looking for opportunities to do goyo, we do need help here at the Hiromai. We need people to help please clean up. If you're, I'll be honest, I hate gardening. I hate gardening. Everything dies. Everything. Oh my gosh, my basil died. My lemongrass died. I don't know how I'm killing green onions, but my green onions are dying. I don't know how that happened, but oh well, they're dying. And so if you're willing to come, if you're willing to help out in the yard, to clean up in the yard, or maybe sweep the garage area out so it's nice and presentable. If you want to help with cleaning up the bathroom, if you're a plumber, I'll hunt for the money to pay for it. We do need help with kind of clearing out what's the problem inside the sink in the bathroom. If you want to help clean the bathroom or anything, I will be here. I'm going to do my best to get here by 9-10 o'clock on Saturday, which is the day of the Oyobidashi, where we read off the names of the members to begin the process of cleaning here. But if you're willing to come and to help us clean up, please join us at that time. You don't have to be, I know how long the Oyobidashi is, the calling of the names. You don't have to say it, or you can just watch it at home while you're driving home. That's be my guess. But we do need people to help do Goyo because we need that extra help. And then Sunday will be the Mitama Matsuri as well. The following week, please know that I am taking students. It's not, I actually wanted the trip to be canceled. I don't know why I let this parent go on. But anyway, I'm taking students to Japan. And we're going to be gone for 11 days. And then again, the following day, when we return the following day, I need to return back to Hawaii. I need to give my nephew some respite because he's been doing so much. I really have to give him respite because he's just been, between his full-time job, taking care of his kids, and now he's taking care of my parents. He needs a break. I need to give him that break. And then finally, for those of you who would like to, I will be attending our parent church's 120th anniversary. And so I'm not going to be part of the, oh, please, I don't want to be a part of that service. That's way too much for me. But I will be attending the service. So if you'd like to give an offering for that, please bring it by the Mitama Matsuri, and I will combine it. I'm also hoping to go to headquarters at the same time. So if you would like to give an offering to headquarters, please make sure that all comes in by the 5th. I think don't quote me on this because I don't have a thing on, but whatever that Sunday is of our Mitama Matsuri. So please make sure that it's in by that time. So again, that's next month in April. So if you're, I'm gone and then I'm gone again. But again, it's to attend our parent church's 120th anniversary and to go to Konkō headquarters as well. So that would be due on the Mitama Matsuri Day. The offerings, if you would like to give offerings, you don't have to. It's not mandatory. But please know that I will be going and I'll be coming back immediately because I have a lot of work to do at my workplace. But thank you very much, everyone. Please take good care of yourselves. Please stay safe. And please have a wonderful, wonderful week as we begin. And don't forget, next week is daylight savings time. So just be aware of that. But please have a wonderful day. Please stay safe. Ahui ho, malama pono.